2010 U.S. Open Cup trophy awaits. A year ago, Seattle captured the hardware with a 2-1 win over DC United using a late winner by Roger Levesque. Today, you can expect fireworks at Qwest Field when the Sounders defend their title against Columbus. Both teams have made it through a number of obstacles to reach the pinnacle of this competition, and now we find out which team has the talent and which team has the heart to clear the final hurdle in the road. Seattle and Columbus for the Lamar Hunt U.S. Open Cup Final. It's next on Fox Soccer Channel. Welcome to the Pacific Northwest, where here tonight in the Emerald City, it is one of the crown jewels in North American soccer, the 2010 Lamar Hunt U.S. Open Cup Final, pitting the Seattle Sounders against the Columbus Crew here at Qwest Field. We bring you inside of Qwest Field, one of the best environments in North American soccer, as Sounders fans already chanting nice and loud for this one. The team's making their way out onto the field of play for the 97th edition of the U.S. Open Cup Final. Mark Rogandino, Christopher Sullivan with you. So many storylines that we will touch on throughout the broadcast here tonight. But you know, Christopher, it is not often that we get to say this is a Cup Final.
That's right, and we've been covering this for the past few years here on FSC. Tonight might be the biggest when you think about it. Seattle, a great mastermind surge from Ziggy Schmidt in the last month or so. They're playing good football, and they get to come home and look for their second consecutive trophy in the U.S. Open Cup. Historic competition, but they're playing against the formidable Columbus Crew. Should be outstanding tonight.
Let's take a look at the road here for Seattle, how they got here to the final, and we take you all the way back to late June. They faced off against one of their Pacific Northwest rivals. The Portland Timbers had to go to penalty kicks to get into the next round, where they beat Los Angeles 2-0. That brought them into the semifinal, where they took on the other team from Los Angeles, and that was Qwest USA. We pick up the highlights here. Nate Jakwa opening the scoring. Freddie Montero would double the lead, making it 2-0, but Qwest USA would pull one back. Justin Braun heading this one through, eventually picking out Padilla. He would finish at home to make it 2-1, and then the exclamation point would come later in the second half as Jaco would finish it home to make it a 3-1 win to bring Seattle here to the final, and they will face Columbus.
Yeah, Jake was scoring in each game 5 goals in this competition.
And the road for the Crew looks like this. They had to beat 2 USL sides, first Rochester and then the Charleston Battery, a 3-0 win in that one. That brought them in to the semifinal to face DC United. It would take place in front of the Screaming Eagle fans at RFK Stadium. Early on in the match, Iro whistled for the foul. Hernandez would step up to the spot to give the home side a 1-0 lead. We would hear more from Hernandez later, Christopher, as he trips up Danny O'Rourke, a red card. And then Columbus would equalize through Andy Iro to make it 1-1. A foul inside the area. You see the ball is finished, but the foul was on Leonard. Schelotto would eventually go and make it 2-1, would be the final in that one. That is the hardware they're playing for here tonight. Seattle and Columbus, they take center stage when we return. Both teams looking for their second Open Cup trophy. Only one can get it. Welcome back to Seattle, where it is the third meeting this year between Columbus and Seattle. The first one taking place here at Qwest Field ended 1-1. Steven Leonard with the equalizer there. And then a couple of weeks ago, they would meet at Crew Stadium. And Christopher, really, this was the Blaise Kufo show, as he was able to put the ball in the back of the net 3 times.
And we knew that Ziggy Schmidt was good at finding excellent talent, as he did in Columbus, and he comes back home with this outstanding 4-0 victory. We'll see which Columbus Crew comes back to Seattle.
So now they meet here tonight with some hardware on the line. And we take a look at Seattle's formation for this one. See what kind of lineup Ziggy Schmidt will field here tonight, as the Sounders looking to become the first MLS team to go back-to-back in the U.S. Open Cup victory stand.
Well, you know that Ziggy's going to play with a fast lineup through the speed of Nyasi and Zakawani in those wide positions. Sturgis and Alonso will play as 2 functional holding central midfielders behind Freddie Montero and Kufo.
Now you see those 2 players up top, Kufo, but he will combine with Freddie Montero. The Colombian has been sensational.
He has been. I mean, he's starting to broaden his game into wide points, playing off Kufo. The play of Kufo has made him better in other attributes. Bringing players into the play, technical, his vision, his release, his ability to get into the final third. He's still waiting for that outburst and explosion to get that goal-scoring prowess that we've seen in the past few years.
And as we take a look at the Columbus Crew, the starting 11 here for Bobby Borzija.
And I think the thing to know out here is Grunenbaum, who's played in all these Open Cups, gets the start, even though Hesmer is the #1. Francis, he's the speedy left back over Padula, and that will be to match that speed of Niasi. Or if you have a player like Zakawani, but DJ Barros Esquiloto, he's the most winningest player in this league, having won 17 titles with Boca. They need to get behind this player tonight. He doesn't like to lose. He loves to win. He knows how to change a game on the spot in the present. Look for him to do that tonight.
The 37 years young Argentine has been sensational for Columbus. You know, we've covered the teams, we've covered the formations. We haven't talked about the coaches. For that, we check in down on the side of the pitch with Christian Miles.
All right, Christopher, Mark, the relationship between Robert Warzia and Ziggy Schmidt reads like a Hollywood script. The two spent 3 seasons together in Columbus. Last year, Ziggy Schmidt moves over to Seattle, claims the U.S. Open Cup, while Warzia claims the best record in Major League Soccer. Despite all the success, Warzia has not beaten his old mentor. Perhaps he will do it on the 5th time of asking. Mark?
This is the 5th time, Christian, and it is 2 wins and 2 draws for Ziggy Schmidt. There's Michael Kennedy. He is our referee in charge here for the 2010 Lamar Hunt U.S. Open Cup Final. His whistle gets us underway as the crew line up from head to toe in the black kits with a little bit of yellow trim on the sleeves and on the socks, while Seattle comes out in what I believe they call electricity yellow for the Sounders here. Seattle will attack from right to left across your screen. Mark Rogandino, Christopher Sullivan. You just saw Christian Miles down on the sideline, the rest of the FSC crew. A cup final here at Qwest Field. Fans still filing their way in, but 30,000 plus will be here tonight. It'll be the largest crowd to witness an Open Cup final ever. Osvaldo Alonso rising up to head that one forward. Kufo tries to further it on. Seattle able to win it back. Tyson Wall, the young left back, with plenty of space now here. Leonard tries to close that space in the midfield. As the ball back from Nathan Sturgis, not the best one. And the veteran Frankie Haydick will put it back in play. Christopher, really perfect conditions here tonight for a final, in the sense that when I came into the city here today, the cab driver taking me to the hotel even said, this is like Southern California. That's where you're from, right? I mean, it's about 60 degrees here at kickoff.
Yeah, conditions are perfect, Mark. And not only that, there's a buzz throughout the whole city. Even in the day, people are wearing the shirts, they're wearing the colors. They're looking forward to getting behind Seattle. And it could be an advantage for Columbus as well. The players are excited from Columbus to play in this match.
Whipped in. Montero with the chance and the save from Andy Greenbaum.
Well, there's a glimpse that we talked about. An illustration of getting wide, quick little 1-2 combination right here, and you get a direct ball played in with perfect timing. Montero actually moves inside Haydock and makes an adjustment, step back. Great movement and awareness.
Montero on the ball one more time, long distance, and that one just whistles over the bar. Within seconds, Montero with 2 good chances.
Well, you can see that the confidence is flowing through Seattle. They want that attacking initiative. They want to shoot. Great little explosion in a channel right here, and all he needs is a good look. He separates away from Iro, and this doesn't dip too far off that post.
You mentioned Andy Greenbaum, that he has had the chance to reward Robert Borzija by starting all of the Open Cup matches. He's also been the regular in the CONCACAF Champions League play, while, as you said, Christopher, Will Hesmer is the regular #1. Not so sure he knew much about that shot dipping over the bar moments ago from Montero. We've seen the young Colombian score some brilliant goals throughout his time here in the States so far. Ekpo cutting it back. Wall defending there 1 versus 1. Ekpo has support in Haydick, but elects to go toward the back post. Keller sees it go wide.
I think we're going to have some fantastic matchups tonight. One of the players that I'm so glad is starting is Ekpo right here. I mean, the Nigerian player that was discovered actually from Ziggy Schmidt. He brought him in. He said, this guy is a diamond in the rough. He's just a beautiful jewel to watch on the field. And when he has that space to express himself. He cuts, he gets forward, he's very dangerous for Columbus.
There is Ziggy Schmidt over on the bench for Seattle. Talk about leaving a team in style. Won MLS Cup in 2008 in charge of Columbus and walked off into the sunset to take over for first-year Seattle a year ago. Nice little exchange, just bringing the movement into the box. Burns trying to get forward.
You see that little extra effort and contribution and edge to keep the ball in. Is going to be called back. Went over the line. But the pattern and the sequence, 4 players, quick one touch, and then the run out of deep midfield to get into the area. Excellent.
Casey Keller will start from the back. No pressure in terms of defending in the offensive third here from the Crew. Really just allowing Seattle to knock it around in their own end. James Riley with the long ball up and over the top, looking for Montero on the diagonal run. Iro is there to defend. Kufo comes in with a secondary chance, and now Leonard will gather it in. A couple of minutes underway here in the 2010 U.S. Open Cup final. Carroll, plenty of space out wide, and Haydick will find it. Haydick searching for options. Finds a good one.
You see that Guige was asking the ball for 25 yards as Haydick was coming. He finally gets it in his feet.
Tyson Wall able to get back to win it. And this ball will go out for a throw. While we have a moment, Christopher, 6 minutes of play. Let's take a look at your approaches for the match here tonight.
You see Columbus pressing here, but for Seattle, they need to have a quick tempo and take that attacking initiative that we saw, setting that quick attacking tone, the coordination, balance on both sides of the ball. Defensively, from a defensive phase to the transition is important. And more importantly, when you get your chances, take your chances, be decisive.
A good decisive ball out wide here for Zakawani. Matched up 1 versus 1 against Haydick. Taking it to the end line, back in front, and it pops up into the gloves of Andy Greenawald.
Well, you can see the target there was certainly Kufo. He's been the hot player. Montero was at the far post. Great little slalom movement right here. He just breaks out. Nice one touch to recognize that position. And he just slants in right here, and he's going to pull away from Haydick with the speed. He has the presence of mind to angle that back. Good positional sense from Marshall.
Fortunate there in the sense for Columbus that Marshall didn't get the cleanest of touches, but it bounces up off the turf here at Qwest Field into the gloves of the goalkeeper, Greenawald. Iro up and over the top. This one should likely skip out. And well, how about for the Crew? What are their approaches here tonight?
I think for Columbus, you got to talk about changing the rhythm of the game. You don't want to be one-dimensional. So at times you need to change and accelerate. Other times you got to have a quick transition when you break out going forward through players like Ekbo and Gavin, Barros Esquiloto, and then you got to have variation in your attack. Mix it up. Don't be one-dimensional. They're very good at doing that. When they do that, they play their best football.
How much do some of those approaches rest on the shoulders of Esquiloto?
I think everything. He's the attacking fulcrum. But what we've seen with this team of Columbus, that the defenders play their part, and those wide players, along with Carroll, you know, they all, this is one of the most complete teams on both sides of the ball, but he's the one that puts that finishing touch.
And right now the crowd giving an earful to the Argentine as he was slow to get up after a challenge. And in fact, Michael Kennedy, our referee, helps him up.
I think it's been a good start for Seattle. I mean, we anticipated there was going to be an onslaught of pressure through their quick players. One of the things that Ziggy Schmidt has done by augmenting their attack is not only having Kufo, who's been hot, Montero, who can pull off as a second striker, but he's playing Nasi more often. So you have a double threat with the speed of Zakawani like we saw a moment ago, and also Nasi on that right side who can cross or get forward in the final third.
I would imagine then for the Crew, they will look to exploit that space when those players, Zakawani and Nasi, do get forward. We'll see if they can accomplish that here tonight. Alonso checking back, leaves it at the feet of Riley. And again, no high pressure defending from the Crew. Wall lofting it up and over the top. Zakawani brings it down in front of Marshall and Hayden. Snaking away from the pressure, in for Montero, trying to find Blaise Kufo.
It's almost as you felt that Montero had anticipated that Marshall was going to pull off Kufo and leave him alone. He was trying to release it quickly. Great build-up right there. You see, Zakawani has become more creative in his play, not only one-dimensional, but he picked out Montero extremely well.
Sean Francis coming in to clear it for Columbus. It ricochets off of the leg of Freddie Montero, and the Crew will have a throw here in the 10th minute. Young Jamaican has stepped in at left back, filling in for Gino Padula, who has had to battle some injuries this year. It's been another good find for Columbus in Sean Francis. Well, so far here in almost 10 minutes of play at Qwest Field, the action has been tilted one way in favor of Seattle.
We're only in the first 10 minutes, and you've seen some good ebbs and flows on the side of Columbus as well when they push into the attacking half. They have to be cautious, attentive as a team in their position.
Long diagonal ball there from Eddie Gavin. Niasi trying to win it. Excuse me, from Sturgis. This is Eddie Gavin winning it back now for the Crew.
Yeah.
Tripped up from behind by James Riley. And is Michael Kennedy going to go to his pocket?
Well, you see the way that he ran over to the ball and not to Riley, that he's going to get a get out of jail free card and not pick up that booking. This could well have been a yellow. Well, you see he was off to the races. Nice little pause and quick acceleration from Gavin. One of the players they depend upon to break out in transition.
That to the T is the true definition of a professional foul there, where he stops the flow in the middle part of the park. Carroll trying to win it before Zakawani. Second chance he does. Little chip up over the top for Leonard.
Ioni did well. Guije put a lot of spin on that to put that through to Lenhart.
Francis, first time on the overlapping run, deflected out by James Riley. And now the Crew start to settle in here. Tough ball for Steven Leonard to handle. Great work there from Eddie Gavin to win it back, but his right-footed effort is wide of Casey Keller in the Seattle goal.
We're seeing two players for Columbus that are playing incredible for more than one person. You see Siggy Schmidt right here. And he's been the mastermind in getting the team to the final last year and winning in D.C. That was pretty controversial because both teams wanted to play at home. Seattle said, hey, we can commit 30,000+ fans. But the strength of D.C. United and the history prevailed. They are still able to win.
I guess the Sounders had the last laugh because they raised the trophy.
Yep.
Roger Levesque with an 86th-minute winner in that one. And at that point, against a 10-man DC United side after Josh Wicks was given a red card. Montero inside for Kufo. Trying to link it back with Freddie Montero. And away comes Kevin Burns.
A lot of work and movement and coordination between Burns and Brian Carroll. And we've seen, look at this, well read here from Grunenbaum to come out, but Carroll has been not only orchestrating, his range of running is a little bit greater than what he normally does. Normally he sits that deep line midfield. He's being asked to support Manos Esquiloto a little bit more.
There you see Robert Vorzija has been a part as a player in 2 Open Cup finals back in 1998, losing to Chicago at Soldier Field.
Hey, he won that one in 2002. Look out here.
Zakawani leaves it for Kufo. Back inside for Zakawani, trying to turn onto his right foot. And Carroll got enough of a touch to disrupt things.
As the Ekbo making himself available for the exit outlet. And they pick this up. Again, we just talked about Carroll. And sometimes coaches, that when they're in a final, you ask a little bit more of your players from their role. So you got to get out of that region, in that zone, and do some extra work. And that's what we're seeing with Brian Carroll early on, just to keep the balance both ways That's a sign of an intelligent player.
Well, both of these teams have really a great blue-collar central midfielder working hard in the midfield. Carroll for Columbus, Sturgis for Seattle. Haydick now getting forward, trying to bend it in toward the 6. Nobody there but Casey Keller. Michael Kennedy, our referee, lets the advantage play here for Seattle. Alonso. Good ball from Alonso. Niasi has come inside, hits it back now here for Park. Wide for Riley. Free-flowing offensively so far here from the Sounders.
You see a little bit of pause collectively here, putting an emphasis on possession. And you have an interesting central midfield. Sturgis has been good alongside Alonso. Normally you'd have Evans in that position, but he's not fully back off IR.
Montero applying some pressure here. And Francis will earn the throw for Columbus. Chants become even louder as Seattle on the break. Zakawani leaves it for Montero. The right-footed shot. Greenbaum, the save, and pouncing on the rebound.
And you see this action right here. The conclusion was missing Blaise Kufo just to follow up. But Zakawani, we've talked about his maturity. His starting point is more central. And even though he's getting clipped, Mark, he continues to go through. Kufo should have anticipated and come right on the doorstep there and look for something. A great breakout from Zakawani.
The third shot from Fredy Montero here in the opening quarter of an hour. Columbus will pick up a free kick. Frankie Haydick is tripped up here near the Seattle bench.
See, Kufo says, this is not a foul right here. I'm just anticipating. But you see that little wrap around the waist and then another wrap over the shoulder with his right. That's where he picks up the foul from Michael Kennedy. The recovery in the midfield has been pretty impressive from Seattle. You see those eyes right there. He's taking the snapshot. One of the best teams in the past 5 years in Major League Soccer has been Columbus on set play, standard situations, and corners. They have the right targets that can be dangerous in the air.
Two very big targets in Chad Marshall and Andy Iro. Both of them hovering at the top of the 18. Scalotto lofting it in that direction. Marshall is there, but so too is Jeff Park to challenge. Pushed away for a moment. Carroll trying to turn the corner there against Blaise Kufo, and the Swiss international just using his size to get on the ball and win it back for the Sounders.
You see, we talk about players that have settled in. Kufo is one of those players that you see the confidence that he's doing that extra contribution, extra work for his team.
Montero slipping it in here for Zakawani. Columbus scrambling to get back. Central ball. Chance for Niasi. Kufo will have a chance to run it down outside the 18. Numbers inside the area. Headed away by Iro. Seattle looking for the second bite of the cherry as Alonso plays it back here for Tyson Wall. And another good look for the Sounders here in the opening 20 minutes. Steven Leonard stepping in to push it away. Columbus can exhale for a moment. Ziggy Schmidt already has 2 U.S. Open Cup trophies under his belt. Last year here with Seattle and back in 2001 with the LA Galaxy. competition nearly a century old here in North America.
Well, we've seen the movement here, Mark. Sorry about that. Alonso is really coming back deep in that deep line midfield. And this is his third consecutive U.S. Open final, because he was with Charleston 2 consecutive years.
After a great 2008 with the Charleston Battery, he signed here with Seattle. He's been one of the very bright storylines for the Sounders in their now almost 2 years of existence in Major League Soccer. Leonard, little touch pass out wide here for Haydick. Ekpo slow with the overlapping run. Haydick able to stay on his feet.
Yeah, and you see behind him, Burns had an outlet. He was going to relay that ball into the feet of Carroll and go back around. And Haydick was only really looking at Ekpo. He was sold on the movement of Ekpo. Great ball.
Schelotto, first time. Ekpo getting in behind. Top of the area. Just wide from Eddie Gavin.
This is fantastic football. And you could see it, the hands on top of Guiche. He just makes a magical touch right here. That is a fantastic ball. Just catches that left back sleeping. Ekpo plays it angle back. Perfect for Gavin.
This will be the best look.
Yes. Big opportunity. He's trying to place that with effect in the far post, and it just comes off the leg. He can't close it.
Seattle one better in the shots column so far, with all 3 of those coming from the 23-year-old Colombian, Fredy Montero. It was his game winner in the semifinal of the U.S. Open Cup against Chivas. The final was 3-1, but Montero with the game winner. And remember, he was man of the match a year ago in the final against DC United. Ekpo on the ball.
Here's a double look right here from Michael Kennedy, and that's why the fans are so passionate right now. At first he pulls his whistle away, he goes back when Ekpo takes a second look and says, yeah, that's a foul. There's a little hesitation right here, and he does this so well. There's a freezing movement and just transfers off his left foot. Montero comes through, good call. Watch how he just anticipates Montero and gets it off his inside of his left foot.
The 2 17s coming together there, and it will give Schelotto another free kick opportunity here for the crew.
You see the look on Ziggy's face, because it's been all Seattle in the last 5-10 minutes. You see Columbus starting to slowly settle in and push forward with a good resistance.
A few moments ago it was a ball into the back post. This one a little closer toward the top of the 18, but again Seattle are able to clear. Steven Leonard looking for the glancing header as Andy Iro had stayed forward from the previous free kick chance. One of the best environments in Major League Soccer. Certainly some of the biggest crowds over the last couple of years have been here.
You see that? You were a keeper, Mark. And you could see the facial expression of Casey Keller fully animated. He's talking to the back saying, you cannot be too wide and get caught through that pass. You know it's coming off the feet of Barros Esquilotto.
Christopher, you just mentioned it a moment ago that, Columbus has started to settle in. I think we had to know coming into this match, as Riley, another trip against Eddie Gavin. This time will we see the card from Michael Kennedy, but while they set up for the free kick, just to follow up, we had to know that Columbus knew they would have to weather the storm, especially with this raucous crowd behind Seattle.
And he's going to put it,
If he didn't get him the first time, he got him here, right?
Yeah, you see the clip. It looks like he wants to keep his... I think the first time was much worse.
I agree.
This is a makeup call.
I agree.
And that's why, again, the fans, and to answer your question, you can almost feel it today in the hotel with the Columbus players that they were up for this. Even though they know it's a packed stadium, it's a big opportunity for them to express their game.
Little slip ball here for Haydick. Zakuani trying to get back. Chance from the top of the area, and it's 1-0 Crew.
You can almost feel the way that Columbus was starting to build on the break. They were getting the geometric passing, and the final touch is right here. This one gets played back from Hayduk. Watch Guillermo. He just comes in on one touch. He's got that ability to see the player where they are. Hayduk does one better, and he releases back at an angle. Lenhart holds up the play, but he lays it off perfectly to Burns. And look at that touch again. 2 magical touches just to break the attack. That's a snapshot, far post with great precision, and a huge goal for Columbus.
Burns in his second appearance in the U.S. Open Cup, and he tallies his first Open Cup goal here in the 24th minute of play. He's been another very good find for the Columbus crew as he has stepped into the central midfield for Robert Vorzija.
But I think the trend that we've seen with Columbus when they're playing their best football, whether it's in Major League Soccer, they're playing the Open Cup or CONCACAF Champions League, it's 2 functional central midfield players, and then you get the wide creative fast players. Whether it's Robbie Rogers, Ekbo, Gavin, it fits that system. And then you have new players that have come in, like Mendoza, who's very talented, playing in the second point or playing where Lenhart plays, Renteria, who can revolutionize the game or also bring a good energy into the attack. So Columbus looking good at this point.
Really against the run of play here for Columbus.
They've had 5 good minutes before.
Correct.
Before that goal.
Dinging the energy level of the crowd a little bit here too in the process with Kevin Burns' goal. Steven Lenhart officially recording the assist. Marshall trying to win it back here for the crew. Ekpo off and running now here for Columbus.
They look at the vision of Guige, how he solves it right there. He calls off Ekbo, and now they're moving through again.
Gavin.
It was excellent from Columbus. One of the strengths, you know, we talked about variation in attack and the approaches and going forward, but they're using the width of the field, but they're changing direction extremely well. Going forward, hitting pockets, gaining territory, but then playing back and switching. And it's working to their advantage because it's a different type of possession for Columbus, but it's just pulling Seattle enough off their rhythm, but they don't have that onslaught of pressure in the last 10-15 minutes.
Do you expect Columbus to change their tactics at all now that they've gotten the game's first goal?
Not at all. I mean, it's working. If anything, I think that Seattle now is going to have to start pushing through players like Zakawani more. Kufo will give you a little bit more movement, and Montero has to step up in between those 2 central defenders and get into good positions.
Niasse turning away from the pressure. Second chance here for Niasse, trying to win it with Montero helping out. And a hard tackle by Sean Francis. And a yellow card comes out, second of the game. First Columbus player to be booked here tonight.
Well, you can see that clearly he's not in a good position. He's stretching desperately. Now this is important. They're gonna push on that side against him. You have Padula who can come in the second half and give you a different distribution out of the back, but the location here with the targets that you have, Iani, Kufo, Tyson Wall, Zakawani can come out around and hook through. And Iani has been good on set plays.
The fans at the north end on the left side of your screen rising up onto their feet. Here in the 29th minute. Short on the free kick chance. I'm not sure that is exactly what Ziggy Schmidt had drawn up, as Niasse couldn't find the window to fire it inside the 18. As Montero is tripped up, in a sense, Seattle's going to get a redo here. And the 2 South Americans come together. Montero from Colombia, Schelotto from Argentina.
Well, you hear that Freddy Montero has come out publicly and said that he's surprised that he wasn't picked for the Colombian national team. They're playing against the USA, I think in PPL Park in Philadelphia. He wants to be included back in that team.
Sturgis with the free kick here for Seattle, right toward the heart of the area. And cleared away by Columbus. Well, I mentioned this is the third time that these teams have met, and earlier our own Christian Miles had a chance to catch up with Guillermo Berro-Schelotto and talk about if the last time they met, remember a 4-0 win by Seattle, how much that meant.
No, I think we lose in home 4-0. That's it. Tonight is different. It's 90 minutes. Is the final. I hope to win. I say congratulations after the game in home when we lose, but tonight is different. And I'm no revenge.
And so far tonight, it has been a different story, at least here in the early going. Kevin Burns, about 5 minutes ago, giving the Crew the lead. Riley into the feet of Montero. Foot race between Gavin and Riley. James Riley will get there first. Can he corral it?
That was good work from Gavin. And they're going to get the benefit of the doubt. The fans don't think that this should go this way, but, you know, the speed of Eddie Gavin is pretty deceptive. He's got that long stride, you know, and he can cover a lot of ground. He just kicks it into another gear. See Alonso down here.
Michael Kennedy is going to call for the training staff of the Sounders to come out to check on Osvaldo Alonso. Ziggy Schmidt on the bench for Seattle. To the left side of your screen, Ezra Hendrickson. Hendrickson also involved in a couple of U.S. Open Cups as a member of Los Angeles. He was on the field back in 2002 playing against the Columbus Crew.
Yeah, he was there too. I think that Robert Vargia at the end saved one off the line.
Oh, an interesting note about that game. There was 4 substitutions allowed in the U.S. Open Cup at that time. Vargia was the final and 4th substitute for Columbus, and as you said, came in the 90th minute to clear one off the line to secure the 1-0 win for the Crew. Let's go back and look at that last challenge where Alonso pulled up, looks like his right leg.
Yeah, well, you can see that Leonard is the one that's making contact, but the position that he has with his knee, the inside of that shin, where the shin guard, the shin protection is not protecting, it looks like that's where he took the knock.
Montero up and over the top here for Zakawani. Chad Marshall sliding in underneath, and now Haydick with the clearance. It finds Schelotto. Pulled down by Montero.
And one of the things that going in at the break that Ziggy Schmidt has to think about, sometimes they make those in-game changes, Mark, where Zakawani and Nyasi, you switch them. You know, you just get Zakawani into the game a little bit more. You get him contact like we saw in the first 5-10 minutes to change the rhythm, to change the game, to break the pattern. See a little bit of the look there from Guichet at Gavin, because he wants him to break out there. He's looking at Lenhard, but he knows he wants to play, and this is going to be a takedown again. They're just trying to disrupt the rhythm, and Kennedy has to be on top of that, make the right decisions, right calls, so he can manage the flow of this game.
Through ball here, Nyasi looking for Kufo, and cleared away.
That's an outstanding ball. Again, it comes through the feet of Zakawani, where he's playmaking, going from left to right. It just freezes the defender, slots it in between. Outstanding.
Kufo using his big size. Nyasi running off it. Francis sliding over to defend here for the Crew. Tight against the line here as Seattle keeps the possession. Up top for Zakawani. Dumps it back for Osvaldo Alonso. They keep the flow going across the field now for Wall. Little chip into the backside. Greenbaum out to snare it with the gloves. Andy Greenbaum was under a little bit of pressure in the opening 15-20 minutes of this match here at Qwest Field, but Columbus has shifted it into another gear since about that time in the match, including a goal from Kevin Burns. International friendly coming up for you here on Saturday when the U.S. faces Poland from Chicago. It'll be live in high definition at 7:30 p.m. Eastern time. That's a 4:30 start out on the West Coast, all part of our FSC doubleheader. That game will be followed by Chivas USA playing host to Toronto FC. You can catch it all starting with USA Poland, 7:30 p.m. Eastern time in high definition, only here on Fox Soccer Channel. Marshall looking to clear, and it finds Ekpo. Park has the inside track to push it away with Steven Lennart on his back.
That's not a bad idea from Ekpo. I think we're going to need to see more out of Alonso in Sturgis in center of the park to really change the dynamic, the attacking dynamic for Seattle. That's where Columbus has done well, solidifying the midfield. They're clamping down. They're squeezing a little bit more on those two so they can't get the good service into the dangerous attackers up front. This is a good ball.
Kufo trying to link up there with Sturgis.
It almost seemed as if Sturgis already had the alleyway and the path to go forward at the top of the area.
Well, despite being down a goal here in the 36th minute of play, the Sounders fans have not quieted too much so far here in the first half of the 2010 Lamar Hunt U.S. Open Cup. Sounders will start from the back. Iani, long diagonal ball looking for Niassi. Francis will challenge, and it falls loose for Montero. Riley joins in from the right back spot. Early ball in, and it's the game's first corner here in the 37th minute.
Well, you see there's a more decisive breakout in attack. The sequence going forward, the support and attack, recovery of the second ball, the knockdown.
Wheels turning in the mind of Robert Vorzija. And Nathan Sturgis will serve the game's first corner. Bending it for Kufo.
Good service. And I see Kufo did everything well on top of Ira. Positions a little bit of a push and positional movement there. He got a good look.
Well, you mentioned that we're going to see a lot of different matchups here tonight. That certainly is a battle of two big bodies as Greenbaum will come out to punch. Niassi causing some havoc. It'll pop loose for Niassi. The shot, it's 1-1!
Well, it's like a tidal wave of emotion. This is the one they were looking for right here. Nice setup, direct play into the area. Greenbaum comes, commits himself. Sturgis gets one look, but it slips in between two. And Niassi has the presence of mind of the keeper being out of position. Great ball, swung in here from Wall. And it gets dropped back at the feet of Sturgis. I thought he didn't need to take that touch, but fortunately, Gizi plays it through. And a fantastic, precise, slotted finish from Niassi. That's the one that they were waiting for. Huge goal to turn the tide.
Fresh off of tallying the game winner in a 3-2 win this past weekend against Toronto. And now he tallies his first U.S. Open Cup goal to make it 1-1. Christopher, looking back on that third replay that we showed, I'm not so sure that Andy Greenbaum needs to come all the way out to the 18 to even punch that ball. You like an aggressive goalkeeper, but he had defenders in the area behind him.
Yeah, I think it worked for him the first time. On this one, was a little far out. He didn't get the full punch that he was looking for. But it was the movement after. It was the reaction and the attitude of Seattle to react and push and advance at the top of the area.
Really almost a gift for Niasse as it came right back to him. Initially wasn't able to get anything on it as Greenbaum punches it clear, but all of a sudden, boom, the ball pops back right into space.
We're seeing a little bit more tackling in the midfield out of Sturgis, out of Alonso like we did a moment ago, the recovery, and then also that quick collective support right behind the forwards, pushing up when they get into the attacking third makes all the difference in the world.
And officially, Nate Sturgis will pick up the assist on the goal.
Well, it looked like Barros Esquiloto was the one that flicked it through Sturgis towards Niasse.
Esquiloto picks up the loose ball. Haydick back here for Guige. Ekpo surrounded by two Sounders, and it's Zakawani coming away with it. He's got plenty of pace, gets past the first challenge.
Yeah, this one's going to be a yellow.
The second challenge from Brian Carroll.
Well, you could just see you got two beautiful players that can float on that line. One, Ekpo going forward, but he wants to go, he can't go. Zakawani just at full speed, he's just chopping the space, pulls away right here, a little bit of a drag, transfer from the right to the left. He's going to get clipped right here. And the second one from Carroll.
So Brian Carroll joins Sean Francis as the two crew players booked tonight here by Michael Kennedy. James Riley, the lone Sounder in the book so far of our referee. Chipped in towards Blaise Kufo. Marshall gets enough of a touch from behind to push that one away. And now Columbus will try and come back in the other direction. Eddie Gavin chased by Seattle's goal scorer, Sane Niasse. And Eddie Gavin runs out of real estate. Quickly, Seattle throw it back in to come the other way. Good checking back here from Montero. Back for Alonso. Space in front of Osvaldo Alonso. Has Niasse on the right, feeds it through.
And it's just a little, you know, they're trying to pull that together and get coordinated and synchronized. The positive thing for Seattle is they're pushing. They're looking forward. They're looking for that final decisive pass in the final third. That's changed in the past 5-10 minutes. Excellent.
Marshall. Haydick now to send it away.
It's amazing what a goal will do for you. You know, the stadium's electric. The players are starting to win the second balls. They're sliding. They're working for each other. And that's why you saw the face that you did before with Robert Voggia, before the Sounders goal.
Montero on the collection here against Andy Iro. Able to keep it under some pressure. Leaves it back for Alonso. A little late to arrive, and Columbus regained possession, but only for a moment. About 2.5 minutes from the end of regulation, probably a couple of minutes of stoppage time. So make sure you stick with us during the halftime break. My partner Christopher Sullivan will break down some of the first half for you if you missed any of it. We're in store for a great second half here, partner.
Well, I think it's been an outstanding first half. You've got to give credit to Columbus the way they've come out and solved the difficult phases. And it does make for an elevated, good second half. Alonso is key. It's so important. We see that he's riding and just cruising in front of that back four, playing a deep line midfield. Voggia wants to pull the midfield up. Look how they break through.
Kufo trying to play early for Montero. Loose again for Sturgis. Riley. Niasse. Speed versus speed here. Niasse bringing it inside. Kufo. Pressure from Leonard. Good ball back into the feet central. Kufo will get it back.
That is excellent. Good movement of the ball, good interchanging, pause and patience.
Montero back inside here for Zakawani. Inside the 18, trying to get by Marshall. Good defending from the veteran, and then the clearance.
He didn't have to hit that hole. It was a fantastic ball played off the feet of Montero. And you kind of wish, you think that everyone thought he was going to strike that with his left.
Greenbaum came for a moment, but then retreated back inside the area. Sean Francis will head it outside the 18, but again, Seattle almost in a half-court set here. Regrouping at midfield, looking for another wave of attack here. Sturgis into the feet of Riley. It's 45 minutes, just a few seconds away from closing that up. A minimum of 1 minute of added time. Kufo inside the area.
And again, Kufo had done the hard work there. Zakawani not anticipating to hit the ball, but they're recovering in high positions and getting in this part of the field. He's been outstanding. That past 15, not only the goal, and we always say speed is priceless, but the way he's pushing and stretching and pulling Francis back on his heels, it's giving a little extra space for those midfielders and players like Zakawani to operate under Kufo.
Niasse slow to get back up onto his feet. The 21-year-old from Gambia brings that speed presence in a wide position for Ziggy Schmidt. Sounders fans have loved his presence through and through, even going back to the 08 campaign as a member of the Sounders. Great first half, Christopher.
Well, I think it was a fantastic first half, particularly for a final. You know, in front of this crowd, both teams came to play. Aesthetically pleasing, they're working hard. You can see that there's something on the line. It should be an elevated, excellent second 45.
Burns opens the scoring in the 24th minute, and 14 minutes later, Niasse brings us level at 1 apiece, and that is how we hit the halftime break. So the teams will make their way into the locker room, and we will get ready to break down the first half. 2010 Lamar Hunt US Open Cup final here at Qwest Field. All even at 1 apiece here at the break.